Yeah, I'll admit, I never really was much a fan of Scooby-Doo from back in the day, so I think it might be part where that comes from. Okay, you're spoiled for choice on which model to be. I mean, you could just be all of them. Like, I don't know if the rando works that way. Because I know that the Link to the Past rando, at least through the Archipelago branch of it, there is a way you can code the settings file to have your sprite change on, like, certain instances. Which, if we ever get the Link to the Past rando on our Monday runs, I'll be able to kind of show that off, right? I think I have, like, 20 different sprite possibilities that can be, and every time I think it's either every time I get hit, every time I leave or enter a room, every time I pick up a chest, and one of the set as well, I forget what it is. But yeah, there's a way to, yeah, not a thing for that. Yeah, I think it's probably harder to do for something that's actually like proper 3D models. But yeah, that'd be something that'd be really kind of cool to be able to see one of these days. Because if they can do that in the Link to the Past, I'm sure they can find some way to do it in the other games. I would heckin' love to see that. Does someone have custom item models? Really now? That'd be kind of cool, actually. Okay, now for some reason I'm trying to imagine like somebody changing all the icons to be like different like sports teams logos. I don't know why that in particular came to my mind, but yeah, I feel like that's one way somebody could probably do something like that. Maybe somebody have with like the heart piece be like their favorite team, stuff like that. I don't know why I came up with something so like generic and standard for an example, but you know what? That's just how my brain be today. But yeah, let's go ahead and bring it on in. Welcome in everybody to the, well, at least attempt number 1 at making our run submission video for Fastest Furs for Heritage of Dragon's Tail. I thought I had the splits up. Apparently I did not. Let's get that fixed. Okay, there's the, nope, that's a preview. There's the actual one. I hate how the actual like window itself pops up like random locations every time. Okay, any percent and layout, Heritage. There we go. So you just embrace the Final Fantasy to be a chocobo? Absolutely, heck yes. Show those Ritos the real burb. Also, I got paranoid for a second that like my mic wasn't coming through for some reason, but it's been coming through just fine as far as I can tell. But yeah, let's go ahead and get the game going. Oh, another update here. Okay, that's a game I'm going to be playing at some point soon again, because there's been another update that I very much approve of. An emergency patch for another game, too. Interesting emergency patch there. Apparently, one of the games I have just released a patch that stops the save files from like slowly becoming bigger and bigger in size, which is interesting. But yeah, let's go ahead. I should be able to get that up. Just update it now and kind of check it later on when I get a chance. You're also planning to stream this and you're attempting to change your anxiety and kind of feeling, to be honest. It does take time to get yourself into like a position of like, okay, yes, I'm ready to start. I can do this, and just take your time. Do it when you feel ready. That's probably the best advice I can give, honestly. As long as you feel ready to do something, that's the important bit. Because then you're kind of like pushing yourself through like negative feelings, then they kind of just reverberates within itself, and it makes you like not want to do it more of it later on. So yeah, so do it whenever you feel at least somewhat like content and okay with it. That's probably the best advice I can give. But yeah, bring up the game. Let the music slowly fade. There's the game. It moved on me again because it likes to do that for some reason. It could also literally be Zelda or better yet Link's grandma? I get the feeling I have an idea which character that's supposed to be, but I don't actually know for sure. I just know there's like a super old character that is like grandma age that is kind of linked somewhat storyline-wise to Link, but I forget how exactly. Also, I suppose I never thought of an actual intro for like the actual like the run submission part for Fastest Furs. I'm planning on giving them the YouTube link with the start of like a certain portion, so I can do like a proper intro to kind of welcome them in, stuff like that. I should have planned an actual like intro for that. I have not planned that. Actually, I wonder if I should have. No, I think we'll just leave it at this point. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to make a little mark here of some kind. So at about the, let's say at the 5-minute mark. So 5-minute mark. Start FF introduction. I think that's probably the best way I can do this. In about 10 seconds, we're going to try to do an official welcome on it, something like that. All right, breathe in, breathe out. And I also never really wrapped like the history like I wanted to do. Anyway, here we go. And hello, Fastest Furs Run Submission Team. I'm actually not sure what the proper title is for that group. I should have probably looked that up, but welcome on in. So this is going to be the run submission video that we have for Heritage: A Dragon's Tale, an amazing platformer RPG that came out in November of last year by a... I don't know if it's like a solo developer or just like a super small team. I'm not sure what the official definition of that is, but it's a fantastic game. I've been waiting to show this off for like basically ever. It's become one of my favorite games, just kind of all time, with just how cool it is, how fun it is. It's also very affordable for anybody else who wants to kind of get it on as well. And so yeah, we're going to be doing our any percent playthrough, which is currently the only existing category, because I'm also currently the only existing runner. And yeah, one of my goals for having this run be submitted in the Fastest Furs event is to basically just get some more exposure, get people more aware of the game, how the game plays, and just how fun it is, and how cool it would be to join in on the speedrunning. I think when we do the actual run in the event, I'm probably going to actually do like a little bit of like backstory on like how the game lore goes about, with like little blurb stuff like that, because we do get to skip the cutscenes, because there's actually an option in the settings. I think I can even show them off in here. Or do they... Rez! Holy crap, welcome in, thank you for the raid. How you doing?
What is a raid? An adorable little pile of cuties. But enough talk. Welcome on in.
Welcome on in, Rez and Raiders. How y'all doing tonight? You actually caught us right at the start of our Fastest Furs introductory recording video, stuff like that. But yeah, how y'all doing tonight? You were playing Final Fantasy 13. I was lurking in your stream for a little bit on that one. I didn't even get a chance to like interact or anything, but I was definitely giving you some lurking and good stuff. But yeah, for those who don't know who I am, my name is Aaron Jevlith. I'm a silly little cat doing silly little things on the silly little internet. Actually, it kind of works as a decent introduction for like the Fastest Furs community as well. But yeah, so yeah, tonight we are doing, like I said, our first attempt at least of recording a run submission video for the Fastest Furs speedrunning event to be happening in early October. And yeah, I'm definitely hoping we can, hopefully we can get this game in the event, because I definitely want to show this game. Oh, you almost got me there. You were so fucking close. But yeah, hopefully you had a great time in your stream. No, it's all good. I'm sure they get probably like a lot more like other potential like quote unquote stuff in their run submission videos, stuff like that. You don't know what model to be? Be all of them. But if you can't be all of them, be Burb. But okay, so apparently so once you're in the game, there's an option in the options setting to actually like turn off cutscenes. Apparently you can't turn it on here. There is also a play as no body setup. This might be a route I create later, because this is basically like a bonus character you get for beating the game. It's basically double damage taken and given, so it makes the game faster as far as like fighting bosses goes, but so much more dangerous when you're playing through. It might be something I maybe add on as like maybe an incentive in a future date, but probably for the upcoming like event. I don't know if I feel confident enough for that yet, but we're gonna go and start the game. So speedrun time just starts on hitting new game, and it will end when we do the final hit on the final boss. And I'll try to go over a little bit of some of my movement strategy and stuff like that with certain bosses and certain specific rooms as we play. But yeah, let's go ahead and get the run going. Let's begin. Alright, so there's going to be a pretty basic movement set we have here, is that you always start off with these dodges here, or dodges slash dash, whatever you want to call them. You can do this, I think, actually, I never actually did a proper timing on how long the minimum timer is to do a dash. I feel like there's some level of randomness to it, but yeah, I need to actually like calculate that at one point. But kind of one of the more common trick movement you'll see is me doing basically a dash, a jump, and a dash. And sometimes if you bounce off an enemy, you can get your double jump back. And use that to get like a lot of horizontal movement without ever having to touch the ground. And in order to get past this section, you got to reflect this little bomb plant across. And for the early part of the run, we do want to be getting pretty much as much money as we can reasonably get, because we will need a decent chunk of money at a relatively early part of the run, as well as for another part of the run later on. And there's also a kind of run where you want to die even less than you normally would in a speed run, because when you die, you lose, I think it's 10% of your current XP toward your next level up, and 15% of your money on hand. So you definitely want to play a little more safe, especially once you get a lot of money set up, something like that. And welcome on in, Deglion, and welcome on in, King, and welcome on in, Liz. Holy crap, everybody's coming in tonight. How y'all doing? I'm trying to jump good, I'm trying to run good as I show off the run to the Fastest Furs submission group. I'm trying to get this into their event in like a month and a half, or actually I guess it's 2 months from now, but yeah. Oh, and I actually missed my setup there, but I still made it work. Let's heck and go. So normally you dash like right before doing that screen transition, do another dash after the screen transition, you can jump up onto the platform and just make it up across and be able to skip that cycle. But I accidentally found a backup way to do that. Let's heck and go. You're not doing Chocobo yet? Do the Chocobo. Burb. And yeah, one thing I do try to do in the early game as well is that when you defeat any enemy, there's a small chance you'll get what is, at least what I refer to as an XP bubble. it can be a kind of random value within a certain range. Usually it's either 30 XP, 60 XP, or 90 XP. If you can get that, it's basically bonus experience on top of what you would normally get from killing the enemy, which is usually a much smaller number. And we usually try to make sure we have just enough XP for certain sections where we get do some stat improvements for both survivability and to just go fast by doing a lot more damage. And I will apologize, I'm not going to be able to do like complete chat interaction like I normally do, because I'm trying to... it's also kind of like a practice run for me, just like doing a kind of like commentated run of this as well. Because if I can get this in the fastest first, that'll actually be my very first I've ever done that. So I'm kind of trying to do the best I can. But yeah, welcome on in, everybody. I hope you're all having a fantastic night, and hope you're having a fantastic time watching the stream and learning about a good heckin' game that people need to know more about. Oh god, okay. Okay, not a bad start here. Yeah, I'm gonna do a test stream tomorrow just to figure things out. It feels spectacularly. I feel like most people's streams for like the first couple of months kind of always feel like super jank, stuff like that. And yeah, we basically leave that town as soon as we enter there because there was nothing there that we want out of it. So this first section, we do have a good bit of this kind of routed out ahead of time. We want to go down into here. We'll be fast traveling to this part later on 2 different occasions. And by entering any like location, you'll get the little series of windows telling you about the fast travel system in the game. We just mash through that to get through the text boxes. We'll come all the way across here. And I have done timing on like various methods of like movement and when to get certain objects and when. There is tech. Also, if you interact with any of those beasts, either the blue bats or like the red Ganon-looking enemies, you will get into a quote-unquote random encounter, so you do want to avoid those as much as you can. Typically, each one of those kind of loses about 30 seconds, depending on the length of the stage. So what we want to do is we first want to go to Tenbor Village, and we want to just kind of go to a specific NPC so we can start a specific quest line, which will then be resolving within like a minute of picking it up. We used to talk to the blacksmith to start another quest chain, but we recently realized you actually don't even need to talk to him at all. You can just do the end part of the quest line, and you're just good to go. So we talked to that person so we can basically learn that he has a cousin in the forest who can teach us a special sword ability. And we will, in fact, go back to the very first fast travel point we got. And I believe the character's name is Gorochi. He will teach us the down stab ability, which, and of course he walks away from me. Which, at this point now, when we jump and we hold down and press attack, we'll basically hold our sword down and can actually bounce off some enemies that we normally couldn't. Plus, it deals double damage compared to a regular attack. So this is something that's like comes in very much useful both for movement and for XP gathering. There in a second, amazing. No, res a second, amazing. Ha, got him. Oh, and I forgot to do my split for the down stab. Oh well. Yeah, you can make that pretty easily as long as you don't. Yeah, that little moving platform. You make that cycle pretty easily as long as you just keep moving. Yeah, slimes you can pretty much always insta-kill. I think they only have like 1 or 2 HP, stuff like that. Yeah, a lot of the enemies here aren't going to be one-shottable, kind of regardless, but yeah, the green slimes are especially good to try to get because they're worth a little bit more experience than the regular slimes. And they're just as easy to kill as well. Like, I kind of screwed up that movement, but it still worked. Oh, look at that, I screwed up even more. And yeah, one kind of mini technique I found is that if you do a dash and then immediately attack an enemy, then you actually get your dash basically immediately recharged. You can kind of just move quickly again. It's a little hard to get the timing down sometimes, but it can make things a little faster. So I do try to do that whenever it's feasible. You also can just like... Oh, God. Yeah, that can be the problem with dashing sometimes, that you don't get the ability to jump, and if you do it the wrong way, stuff like that happens. I think my dream for this run... Oh, God, we go to the back to the start of the stage. So there are checkpoints in these stages, but early on, they come very few and far between. You're just gonna have to just straight up be good so you don't lose too much time. But yeah, so for example, with the down stab on those mushrooms, without the down stab, it would take us like multiple hits to be able to take them out. But because of the double damage we get from that, we can actually do like a lot more damage and can one-shot them. You can also make me the resolution of a quarter of a Atari screen. So there's also that as an ability. Oh, okay, we salvaged that. Yeah, pretty much the best thing you can do to save time in this game is just don't die. Whatever movement you do that feels like slow or inefficient or just weird or whatever is infinitely better than falling into a pit and dying. So that's kind of like the #1 thing you can do. You'd love it when 15 pixels give you a tutorial. It's truly a magical feeling. And yeah, also if you can walk along a platform in the same direction that's moving, you can save a little bit of time because actually the momentum kind of stacks basically. There aren't a lot of times when that comes in like super useful, but it comes in enough use that we can try to get to use that when we can. You can also do a down slide attack, which will let you basically get through enemies without taking damage, and also be able to stun them. And that's an example of an XP bubble right there. So we just got one entire level up plus some, because that XP bubble was just more than what we needed for a single level, which is why we would look for those so early on. And in fact, if I get one more level up like before the end of the stage, I can actually get my attack up early. We might be able to get some more enemy kills than we normally would. Because every time you level up, you basically get a skill point you can use toward your stats. You can increase either your attack, your magic, your health, and eventually a fourth ability that we'll get into later once we acquire it. Although we don't use that ability in the speedrun, because there's not really a good quote-unquote opportunity to use it typically. Actually, we do have the option now, so we go to the level up menu here. First thing we do is level up attack twice, once we get the total of 3 skill points. And you start off at, I believe the number is 8 attack, and by doing that, every level up gives you plus 4 additional attacks, so we just doubled our damage. And when you consider the fact that the downside is also doubling our damage, we're doing like so much damage right now. Which is to make a lot of certain enemy killing so much easier and quicker. Wait, that's another SP. Oh, okay, you know what? Oh, that was only 30. I thought that was worth like 60. Yeah, generally once you get like 2 XP bubbles, you're pretty much good on the XP route for any like possible concerns like accidental deaths or stuff like that. But it's usually never a bad idea to try to grab it again if you have the easy opportunity to. The Metroid marathon continues, and to fusion you go. Best of luck with the fusing of the Samuses. Yeah, you also can do damage just by straight up jumping on an enemy like Mario style, but it does so little damage in comparison. It's literally just 2 damage. And if the enemy has like any kind of armor stat, which just is basically just damage reduction, then it just does nothing. On the plus side though, if you hold the jump button as you land on top of an enemy, you do get a bunch of extra height on the jump as well, which can be used to make some sections a little more easy to traverse. I don't think there's anything that necessarily requires that kind of movement, but it is a possibility. Yeah, we're still ahead. Alright, so normally if we don't get any XP bubbles, this is where we would typically give our attack up, or get our attack up supplied. But since we had a little bit early on in the last stage, I figured, you know what, let's just grab them now. It's really only in this stage you really see the effect of it, because there's going to be a lot of things here that have more health than what we saw in the previous areas. Yeah, there's still some enemies that have too much health for us to really want to deal with for XP. Yeah, the green slimes are good for some extra XP as well. Although if you just do a basic stomp on them, they do the explosion thing and they kind of shock you for some damage. So usually you want to do a down stab on them so you can avoid the immediate damage from that. Yeah, admittedly, I could be going a little bit faster by like not necessarily doing a jump in between each dash, but for me at least, just having the jump kind of gives me like the perfect duration between each dash to be able to make sure they actually work. Because if you try to do it like on the frame that it's available, it sometimes feels inconsistent. Although that might also just be because of the fact that, you know, the human body's just not consistent, so you can't really always get the exact timing you always want. Also, you want to avoid the stinger on those the skeleton guys there, because they will poison you, which, as you would expect, slowly replenishes your health over time. And now, those little turtle shell enemies there, you can eventually do damage to them, but they just have so much defense by base that you cannot do any damage to them until like halfway through the game. They're not even worth that much experience either. I think they're worth like 4 per kill. So here we just do basic jumps to get rid of those 4 blocks. Jump just up enough so we're not slowed down by the quicksand, and we just move forward. And again, slide through some enemies in order to make sure you can avoid damage and also stun them for a little bit. Slowly replenishes. Wait. I already forgot what I said in that regard. Oh. Yeah, taking little bits of damage here doesn't really quote-unquote hurt too much, as long as you're kind of careful about when and how often you get hit, and also when you get hit by. Because naturally, some enemies do more damage than others. If you're fast enough in this section, you can actually get past this little gap right here before it closes in on you. This is a mini boss fight right here that I'm kind of going back and forth on which route is faster, whether or not you just want to keep doing down stab like that, which is so much more safer and consistent, or going by just using the flame spell on it and you kind of have to jump around a bit in order to make the aiming work right. But it can be faster, but it's also a lot more inconsistent. So I'm kind of on the fence about which strategy is really the better one. You said poison does that? But I think I might have said... I think I might have meant to say something else. But no, it basically just slowly reduces your health is the way I probably should have said it. Yeah, this section is a bit annoying right here because you literally just have to wait for this quicksand to let you drop through. Ow. Yeah, we don't really get any health in our levels for a while, but for the most part, we really don't need it until a certain point in the game. And here's one of my favorite enemies right here, the Grenadier. You can just reflect their grenades by attacking it with your sword, and you can just basically immediately insta-kill them and pretty much any enemies that happen to be near them for some free XP. And they're also worth a lot of XP too. They're worth like 25 XP per kill compared to like the 2 to 5 that everything else gives. So basically, anytime you can get some XP by reflecting a grenade against them, you take that opportunity. And now we're at an auto-scroller section. There's, I think, 2, maybe 3 of these in the game. And we basically just use this to try to get some free XP, since there's not really anything we can do to speed this up. So we just take out every enemy that we possibly can. Bonk, bonk. Oh. Well, fine. You can attack like normal. Oh, wow. We got 2 big health potions there. That's unusual. You also want to try to be quick to get this guy. Oh. Oh. Okay, I've never had that happen before, but we managed to get the kill, so I'll take that. Yeah, it takes a little bit to get the timing down on the grenade reflection, but it is so satisfying once you get used to it. And also, any of those sand blocks that you attack, like 99% of those in the game have a random chance of dropping a random kind of goodie. It can be like some kind of money, it could be a magic potion, it could be a health potion, could be like an antidote, could be a burn ointment, which we'll be seeing later on. So for the most part, you kind of just want to like attack those whenever you have a free opportunity to see if you can get anything cool out of it. It can also be kind of used as a way to get some backup health if it becomes like a concern at some point. Although you can't quite 100% rely on it. There are some blocks in the game that have like set items, and there is one set of those that we actually do utilize because it gives us a free burn ointment as well as some bombs to use for the media section up ahead. But yeah, for the most part, they're just random. But it's pretty much always worth going for them as long as you have like nothing else big going on. Especially like in an auto-scroller where you can't do anything any faster anyway. And there's also a wind effect here, so it's constantly pushing me to the left here, so I need to kind of give it out for that as I'm moving around. You can kill this little sand digger thing if you can get a kind of like a weird double tap with the down stab, but it's hard to make that consistent. You just kind of do the best you can with it. Looks like holding down stopped me from being blown. Yeah, so if you duck while on the ground, it does prevent you from being affected by the wind as well. Which is got a kind of nice little feature, but it doesn't really have too much of a direct effect, but it can still help. And welcome on in, Riv. How you doing tonight? Also, these servers are one of the worst things in the speedrun, because sometimes you can get through like super cleanly as everything's super fast, and sometimes you'll just have your momentum completely stopped, and it takes like a year to get it back. Those servers are literally the worst, well, not the worst part of the run, but definitely one of the more annoying parts of it. Thankfully, there's not too many times where that's really an issue. Yeah, doing okay, mostly lurking as you're a bit busy. Glad to see me working on my speedrun playthrough. Yeah, not only are we doing that, we're actually getting the recording for our run submission for Fastest Furs. So that's gonna be pretty heckin' cool. Yeah, I'm hoping I'm able to get a good run showing off tonight so I can... Okay, that section actually went surprisingly well. I'm actually finally, I think, getting used to that room. Yeah, because you have basically just enough magic bar to be able to kill one of those mummies, and then the 2 sand blocks on the right side are guaranteed to give you magic bottles actually fairly magic entirely. So you always have plenty of magic to get through everything as long as you're relatively careful. Yeah, otherwise these mummies are way too kind of healthy and tanky to do any other means of killing. Also, the bats can be good for experience if you get a chance for them. But they also move at a very erratic pace, and I've had a lot of cases where I'm trying to attack them, I feel like I should hit them, but then I'm off by like a single pixel, then I wind up like falling into a pit because I hit them instead, so... Yeah, those bats are special. You're rooting for me? Heck yeah, thank you. Yeah, there's actually been a pretty decent run so far, and we're about to have a kind of big room coming up here. It's one of the few sections I've actually like had route out entirely right here. So we start by jumping down, dash, jump, bounce off his head, dash, then we just keep dashing over this way. Now, this upcoming section here, I'm actually working on trying to get a consistent strategy set up for, because I think I do have an alternate route for it. But right now, we're kind of basing it on the positioning of a certain enemy once this platform opens up. So once this goes, let's see how we do. Oh, no. Okay. So the strategy is usually to do the dash, or basically what I do, an extended long jump by doing the jump, dash, double jump, dash again, and then trying to bounce off of him with the down stab, because since he has a spike on his head, if you try to land on him normally, he'll actually do damage to you, but if you do the down stab, he does no damage instead. But unfortunately, his position is slightly RNG every time, and it's hard to get like the proper timing set up. And I feel like even like the platform's positioning is kind of random. But I did have an experience in a recent run where I was actually able to use the platform itself to be able to progress with the speedy route, and not just the enemy, so that's something I'm going to be trying to work on, trying to make consistent. Also, yeah, a lot of those floor switches are going to be like traps of some kind, they're either like remove floors, fire off like poison darts, stuff like that. Most of those we can just kind of ignore because they don't really affect us, as long as we're paying attention. Okay, let's try this one again. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing a lot more practice on this section because I need to find a way to do this more consistently. Yeah, this is like one of the few sections that we're going to be probably spending a few reruns on, just because of how it works. But yeah, once it does work, it looks and feels heckin' amazing. Okay, amazed I didn't get hit by the tail there. Second go. Alright, third tries the charm, right? Oh. Okay, never got caught inside the... or between the blocks there before. That's never happened before, TM. Okay, if it doesn't work this time, we might just go through on the next time and do the regular... Okay, yeah, so there's where we use the platform to just barely get across there. Yeah, that's kind of the backup strat, but I'm trying to get myself used to having that as, like, be the primary. I just need to find a way to make it more consistent. Yeah, because for the most part, most enemies basically start the movement as soon as they come up on the screen. But I feel like there's a few that start, like, earlier on than that for whatever reason. And I'm still trying to kind of identify which ones those are and how to account for them. Also, those little shiny orbs there, you can reflect those back to the attacking enemies as well. But those don't do quite as much damage as the grenades do, so it's not usually a one-shot, so it's not really worth trying to go for those. But it can also just be a good way to kind of mitigate some damage as well. We have another small little battle arena here. And the order of the enemies that pop out in these are always the same, but the locations are completely random. So as you see, most of these enemies have been spawning on the right side so far. They could very well be spawning all on the left side as well. It's all based on just how the luck wants to be that day. Okay, I thought I had more magic than that. Oh, come on. Hey, you can also use the down stab to get a little bit of a kind of a jump chain. If you're inside their hitbox and you're based at the bottom of it, you can get a whole bunch of extra hits if you do it that way, which is usually our goal for some of the bigger enemies. And will become especially useful for one of the sub-bosses we do later on. Yeah, it is literally always worth trying to get the reflection on the grenades. Now, the downside is that the grenades themselves do 3 full hearts of damage to you, which, under normal circumstances, since we only have 3 health, would be an instant kill for us. But one of the hidden mechanics of this game is that if you're at full health, no matter what your total number is for your health, because each heart is worth technically 4 HP, if you're at full health, no hit can one-shot you. You'll always end up with at least 1 hit point left. So if I only have, like, if I had my 3 hearts there, I got hit by an explosion that would only do 3 hearts, it would only do, like, 2.75 hearts instead. which it isn't something that's necessarily used in the run yet, but it is something that's worth keeping in mind, at least for like safety and consistency purposes. Alright, so now we have a mana core fight we're going to be doing here. So our strategy is going to be just attack it when we can, and just before it shoots out its fire breath, we want to run into the boss itself, because contact damage does less damage than the fire does. So like this, we take half a heart there, whereas the fire would actually do a full heart to us. You can generally get in about 4 hits after it stops moving before it starts its fire breath attack. So you can use that as kind of your reference for when to... And then he'll eventually do a roar like that, which will stun you, which you do not want to be stunned. The stunning duration seems random, so you want to avoid that. Also, this tail can poison you, so we want to avoid getting poisoned as much as we can for obvious reasons. We do a little fire breath attack, and then he basically just kind of repeats these on cycle at some point. He'll do this. Okay, never actually tried that as a strategy before. That actually worked pretty well. 1 second go. Let me grab this. Yeah, pretty much all the bosses take a bit of getting used to as far as like the boss strategy and getting the mechanics down, stuff like that. But most of these bosses do go down pretty easily once you get used to everything. You asked about that a while ago, using a hit to take a small amount of damage to use a 10-pin vulnerability. Yeah, that's the only boss where that's really like an applicable ability. Most other bosses, we just go up there and wail on them without really worrying about damage, or they just never really hit us to begin with, so they're not really an issue. That's the only boss where like using a damage boost in that sense is actually a thing. So we picked up the key in one of the previous stages as a little bonus item. We use that to get into here to get us access to our bombs, which we'll be using to do the quest for the blacksmith for the town. And his quest is basically his wife had gone off to do some like resource gathering, and she hasn't been back in a few days. So he tasked us with trying to help find her, and she's basically caught in a cave that kind of like sealed in on itself. And yeah, we just basically needed to open up the cave and kind of pick her up and bring her back to the blacksmith. We can skip that little dagger guy right there. He does take money if he makes contact with you with his weapon, so you want to avoid that as much as you can. This guy does a lot of damage with his swords. You want to be very careful when you're moving here. You get in three hits per cycle, and then when he does this jump attack, oh, you don't even get to see the jump attack. Okay, but yeah, when he jumps and you hit him, you actually slow down his movement, so you can keep him in the air for like an obscene amount of time, and you can do like a whole bunch of free damage there. But we actually managed to kill him before that even happened, which is pretty heckin' cool. Oh, I moved down too much. So here's an example of a random encounter. So it's basically just a small little stage you can get out of, sometimes pretty quickly, sometimes it takes a while. Usually they're about like a 30-second time loss, like I said, but that was actually a pretty short stage. That was probably only like maybe 10-15 seconds. And yeah, the red ones are basically just like harder stages of them. They're harder platforming and slightly more or harder enemies as well. So now that we have bombs in general, we can blow this up. We'll dash all the way through. Now we do kind of have a money route for at least a section of the game, but we actually have enough money kind of right now where just by beating the boss that's going to be coming up here, we'll have more than enough money, so we're actually not worried about getting more of that. Otherwise, the like green crystals that you've been seeing on the floor here, you can actually use those to get more money later on. Here, you want to just go and dash as fast as you possibly can, and you can just make that cycle. And skip having to wait an entire sequence to be able to get the platforms to come back. Because that is not a fast sequence for those to come back either. And yeah, the boss here is literally just the same skeleton guy we fought before. Yeah, just like that. Oh, come on. I think as a safety, I'm going to go ahead and grab the money here. Generally, 2 hits with your sword will take care of any and all of the little money crystals. And yeah, that is more money than we need at this point, so we'll just stick with this. Oh, that's actually a better cycle than I normally get at this point. Let's heck and go. Oh, and that's why I hate the bats so much. They move so quickly and so randomly that you almost can't even account for them if they're trying to go fast around them. Usually you're kind of better off trying to attack them, but even then, that's not always the best strat either. But we got kind of lucky with that one, so I'll take that. Maybe we just keep going this way. We get to leave the cave, and then we can fast travel back to town since we did stop by there earlier. Over here. And so we have a couple things we'll be doing here now. First, we're going to enter the item shop and go buy the boomerangs, which will become very useful for one of the bosses coming up. That's just some text boxes here. Buy those. Yeah, you need $500 for the boomerangs, and then about, I think, $2,300 or $2,400, I forget what the exact amount is, to get all the upgrades at the the blacksmith for the boomerang in particular. And yeah, thankfully, you don't even have to talk to him the first time to get the saving his wife quest line. You can just save the wife and boom, you're good to go. So we get all 4 of these upgrades here except for the bottom right one. This will not only make our boomerang stronger, but it'll also make the boomerangs go through surfaces without breaking and go through enemies without breaking. So you can use that to basically like a whole bunch of hits and on certain... We'll be using that on basically a couple bosses throughout the course of the run. Bite like a butterfly, eat like a bee. Yeah, that's exactly how that phrase goes. Letter for letter. Yeah, some bits of platforming are a little bit awkward, like with that section there. If you just go full speed, you actually kind of miss the last platform. Here, you have to stop in the middle because you can't get across fast enough. And if you get squished by these, that's not just damage, that is an insta-KO. One of my dreams is to hopefully find a way we can actually skip that with some kind of like a Mega Man zip style move. Because we did find through a weird little glitch accident we had a while back that if you're stuck in like some kind of terrain, you can get zipped in a basically rightward/forward progression. But you need to be very careful about how it works so you don't basically soft lag yourself, what we did like it happened with us the last time. Yeah, we wound up getting ourselves caught in the floor after a screen transition. Oh, I forgot to split in the blacksmith quest. So here we get our first spell of the game, which is honestly not a spell we use like at all during the run because it's very short range, doesn't do a lot of damage, and opens you up to too many attacks. It basically just summons like a bunch of lightning around you, and it kind of like shocks nearby enemies. But yeah, we literally never use this. And one fun thing is that if you open up a menu soon enough after going back to the menu, you can actually get ahead of these little text boxes. And yeah, the text boxes that pop up at the end of each stage is basically the game giving you a quick little synopsis of what the cutscene would have had if you were watching the cutscene. I will attempt to take care of that when I have a moment to do so, probably like the end of a stage when we go through the little happy victory thing. Oh, that's bad. Okay. Yeah, thankfully we're at full health, so we didn't actually die from that. But yeah, you have to be kind of careful with the grenades. And of course now we're also at like 1 hit point left, so any hit we take will kill us. So we need to either be careful, or just, well, you know, or we can grab a random health that we get. That's also perfect. Yeah, the red military guys are kind of the worst, because their guns are just like, they do a lot of damage, and they're kind of hard to avoid sometimes. But once you get used to them, they're not really so bad. So after we leave the forest here, we basically just go straight north, and we head toward the... Oh god, that got close. We head toward the city of Alto, which is kind of one of the bigger sections of the run. And also it's kind of one of my favorite little stage mechanics, because you can kind of cheese it out with the iframes you get from the dashing. You can also do a little bit of a kind of fun thing here. If you dash immediately after the text box here finishes up and try to do another dash again, you can actually just land on the bridge itself and just get closer to the little gate up here. It saves a tiny amount of time, but it's just really cool looking swag. So it's always worth going for. Yeah, you can listen through the sewer pipes to everybody talking inside there. They just have like little comments about like, you know, there's a dragon infiltrating the city. Oh no, we have to be careful. Kind of gives you like a little bit of lore about how like the actual like the populace of the land is kind of faring with everything that's happening. Also, heck yeah, level up. Yeah, this is one of those sections that can be kind of dangerous. Oh, I thought I had to bounce off the red cap to get up there. I've learned a new thing. Yeah, for the most part, if you can get a health potion, get the health potion. It's never a bad idea to have a backup health. Also, this is casually one of my favorite themes in the game. It's just such a cool vibe, and all the music in this game is heckin' great. It kind of makes me sad I'm like mostly talking over it, because all the music in this game is just so heckin' good. Yeah, we'll just kind of listen to and vibe to the track for a little bit. Yeah, there are no style points if you use time exactly. And yeah, those rats, if they do contact with you, they do have, I think, like a... I don't know. Oh, well, right there. They have a chance to cause poison, which is, again, kind of draining our health as time goes on. So the only way to typically cure it is just let the timer run out and survive in the meantime. There are also some like stage transitions that will also like cancel out any status effects you have, but we don't get to see any of those come into play until like much later in the run, which is unfortunate. When you're to this one, you have to go left instead. There's no indicator for that. You just have to know to do that. Ooh, we got lucky there, because that bullet would have absolutely killed us because of our poison. Yeah, I could do a safety level up here and recover our health, because every time you buff up your health, you also recover your health. Okay, we got kind of lucky with that guy, because his bullets do 2 hearts of damage, which makes him even more dangerous than normal. Also, XP bow, every time we get a regular level up, we also recover our health. Okay, and this is the mechanic right here. When you cross those beams, they'll actually trigger like a little trap sensor here that does damage to everything on the screen, including enemies. But if you dash at the right time, you can actually use iframes to get across that attack and just get free XP from all the fish that get blown up. It is literally one of the funnest things to do for me in this game. And we'll come up over here in order to grab a key that we'll be using to get another... Oh no, this is where we get the power of gun, which will be useful in a couple boss fights. And in fact, if one boss fight goes well enough, we'll need exactly 1 bullet to finish the boss off. And that's kind of the goal that we're hoping for. It keeps things so much simpler. And of course, once you hit that last one, if you trigger them correctly, the last one doesn't even trigger any shocks if they all expend themselves, which is pretty cool. Yeah, and those dropping bomb things, those will also do 3 hearts of damage to you. And they feel hard, like they have a bigger hitbox than they should have sometimes. So you want to be a little more careful with those. Remember ever seeing me use it? So it's literally only used in like 2 boss fights. One of which is going to be, well, it's used in boss fights and in one like basic stage section. And the basic stage section is something I've only started like recently doing because of the fact that it's like pretty dangerous and hard to get through safely otherwise. But yeah, I'll point those out when we start doing those. This section can be a little annoying because again, the bullets do a lot of damage. But if you're careful enough, you can get through pretty easily. We'll let this guy do his thing because I do not want to get hit by the bullets. There we go. And we still want to collect money on the way because we do need money for a later part of the run. This guy, you can technically reflect the grenade immediately, but it requires a very specific setup that I have not figured out yet. Oh, I did not want you to be down there. Okay. Normally, you want to keep the red guy up on top there so you can get both of them with the same bomb. But I didn't move far enough in time, so I had to spend 2 bombs there. Which, not the biggest loss, honestly, because we can probably get another bomb pickup later, but... yeah, that's a little unfortunate because it does lose a bit of time. And then here's our biggest stat level up gain in the run. We come down here, we get 1 strength, and we'll get 4 hearts. And then because of the enemies in here and the way they attack you and just how many of them there are, you will see exactly why we need to do all these level ups, especially for health. Because there are all sorts of, especially the red hat guys, those are the worst because you can't really do any reasonable damage to them. Oh god. Okay, so far, so not bad, actually. All things considered. But yeah, for the most part, this section is just keep going and don't stop. As long as you do that, you'll be safe. I probably should grab that, but I'm gonna be a brave boy. This we will grab. This replenishes all your health and magic. And also recovers all your items as well, which is super nice. So if you're missing any consumables and you want some, that's a good spot to pick them up. It does give you a worse position as far as like avoiding enemies on the way out of it, but it's still good if you, like I said, if you especially need like consumables for whatever reason. Yeah, time to take a little bit of damage if you need to, just to get through with like iframes is really good. I kind of feel like that's one of our better runs of that section, actually. All right, so this is where one of our first big use of the boomerang comes in. I'm also developing a bomb strap for this guy as well to do a little bit of extra damage. I'm still not fully trained on when to best implement it, but... okay, right about there, so we do like 118 damage in addition to our sword swings after the fact. And then we swap to boomerangs. Once he fires the bullets, if you can fire our boomerangs, we'll do some free damage. Then we keep firing the boomerangs down below. Because we can't hit him with our sword because his helmet acts as a shield. Let him hit the ground. Get some more swords. He'll do a couple left-right attacks. Okay, that was actually a really good split right there. Let's second go. Do some more button mashing. And this time the gem basically appears mostly right above us or the boss itself. So we just do that. The nightmares are only real if you let them be. To quote your friend when he keeps sprinting and ignoring enemies in games. You know what? That's actually kind of true, honestly. Alright. I don't have a water bottle that's actually has water in it. I'll hydrate with pop, but after the stream I will hydrate with proper water. Yeah, I forgot to grab one of those before I started tonight. It's only temporarily illegal. Whoosh. And yeah, so we just got the wind spell, which in my opinion is the best spell in the game, both for casual playthrough and for the speedrunning, because it'll save you from dying so many times. $50 billion kajillion dollar fine. Alright, so we come up here and we pick this up as a fast travel location, because we will be back here after we pick up a certain quest. Because we actually cannot enter until we get the quest started officially. It also becomes very hard to dodge random encounters in certain locations, like across those bridges, because you just have like nowhere to move, and sometimes they just hone right in on you, like you have like a $1 billion wanted sign on your face. Stop there, criminal scum! You violated the law. Welcome in, Zenogre. How you doing tonight? Yeah, I'd say overall we're actually having a pretty good run, all things considered. Going a lot better than I expected it to, honestly. I mean, with the exception of like the one bit earlier on where we couldn't get the first bit of movement. But yeah, you come across here, you basically avoid going down the intended path by going down the ladder there. And you can get access to a little town here. We want to enter into the sword shop, speak with this Lycan right here. He'll give us the quest to get an upstab ability. And in doing so, he'll give us a key to access that temple that we just, well, I guess the tower that we found access to. So we'll do this. We will leave to the left, because it is so much slower to go to the right. Fast travel back to here. A new hand touches the beacon. Yeah, technically, I guess, quote-unquote, the beacon... Well, no, the beacon still wouldn't be the bombs, because it's not really the person that gives it to us. Also, that was a perfectly timed level of a second go. I think we should be fine with this amount of bombs, although I would prefer more. Oh, I couldn't do that on you. Okay, so we need all these to hit properly in order to get, like, the super quick kill. So we want to use the bombs and the reflected grenades to do the maximum possible damage. And then we can use... Oh, wait. One more bomb there. I am pressing the wrong buttons. And then we use a gun in combination with the bomb blast to finish him off. I think we have enough money, but I'm going to go get more money just to be safe. We had 3,000 originally. Some good old Daedric pork. And I prefer Daedric chicken personally, but to each their own. Alright, so now that we've gotten that quest done, I think in order to get like every possible upgrade in this section, you need like $3,400. But you can buy with just 2,800, because the last one is just a little bit of extra ammo with some safety. Oh, it's well, victory bullets, I guess. Well, power increases, and yeah, the extra ammo pouch there. The last item there, I forget what that last upgrade does. It does some kind of like special effect, but it is not useful in the speedrun, so we don't even bother with it. But yeah, now our gun does maximum possible damage and has a lot more ammunition. And once we get all that done, we want to swap back to the wind spell. And what this does is it basically gives you like a super vertical jump, which you can use both grounded, which it's a little hard to use for movement when grounded, because you actually have to jump after casting the spell to get the vertical effect out of it. But if you're in the air when you use it, you just literally jump straight up vertically, and you get so much height out of it. And the best part is if you end up falling down into a pit and you're about to die, you can use that to literally like save the run for that stage. And that's the wind spell right there. You get a lot of height out of it. You can also get some money up in this section up here and basically like on all like the above screen sections here. But at this one, we don't need money for anything, so it doesn't actually help us at all. Also, I hate that guy so much. That ogre does way too much damage. It can easily stun you if you're not careful, just like he did there. And how are you, you ask? I ask, just cooked food for the dogs, and now the house smells like meat, and they won't leave you alone? I mean, it sounds like more dog time. That sounds like a win to me. Although, admittedly, I'm the type that's actually kind of afraid of dogs for the most part, so that wouldn't... I don't know, I guess depending on the energy level of the dog and the size of the dog, maybe that wouldn't be the best for me, but it sounds like a good time for everybody else, at least. It's all ogre now. Yeah, like since we're not worried about money at this point, deaths aren't really as impactful in that sense. Deaths are just time losses at this point. I forgot the split for upstab. I'm really bad about splits tonight, which I guess is kind of fair because I'm not really focused on splits per se. I'm just focused on the actual like gameplay and kind of showing how the game works, stuff like that. Now, you can actually list teleporters if you end up in like the exact center of the teleport itself, you just immediately teleport. Otherwise, you have like this relatively slow cutscene walk into the teleport to activate it, so you want to be in the center as much as possible. They're not like massive time losses if you fail, but they feel like massive time losses. Yeah, use the wind's propeller instead of waiting for the current, because the current will always run out by the time you actually get to it. The wind spell there. One thing I'm still kind of going back and forth on how I want to do this is when to do the magic upgrades, because every magic upgrade you get makes the spells cost less. And sometimes I usually get like a magic upgrade right after picking up the wind spell just to make sure I have enough uses of it, in case I have to like panic a bunch. But sometimes I'm also like, they're not really needed for that kind of thing, so I kind of go back and forth when I'm not actually get those. But you also get your magic refill at checkpoints, so not really the biggest thing. They've already eaten. One of them is now fat/round now. Good. That just makes them more cuddleable. I don't know what that movement was, but it wasn't the worst. Yeah, that pile of jewels there does lead to a secret room, but it just has like money in it, which is for a reason we've already stated, not important at this point. Yeah, this section is kind of annoying because you have both the wind working against you and the kind of floating around heads that come in at semi-random heights when they spawn in. Thankfully, they weren't that big a deal. Sausage dog. Big sausage dog. Oh, that was... Yeah, I meant to just bounce off of that little red imp there. Oh, we missed a cycle. Okay, so now we have to wait for this to come back up then. Actually... Okay, that barely works. I was not expecting that to work, but it just did. Oh. Yeah, like I said, if you use the wind spell on the ground, then you have to do like a manual jump a certain time after for it to work, and it's just super awkward. So I try to avoid using that style of it as much as I can. Also, yay, free random healing. Overall, the dragon goes pretty well, I would say. With the exception of like the early deaths, like I think I mentioned a moment ago, we've had a pretty good run overall. And yeah, a lot of the movement from here is basically just, just go fast, try not to get hit. And yeah, so it's pretty simple at this point. There'd be plenty of opportunities to ask for or check for donations and stuff like that as well, especially for both during the auto scrollers and some of these little segments with not too much going on. Dragon D's nut banned. Banned from the internet. Forever. Yeah, this section is also weird because you get like a random amount of air off the little upward vent sometimes. So yeah, it's an experience trying to get through this. Also, with those skeleton guys, if you just, like jump on them like a Mario jump, something like that, they'll just fall apart and they actually take no damage. So if you try and just like get past them, it's actually not a bad way to kind of just ignore them. Oh god. Okay, salvage that. I've never gotten underneath like that before, but it actually kind of worked out. I'm glad for that. We still have plenty of health. Although we're not quite at a checkpoint yet. But I have enough experience where I know we're mostly safe otherwise. Yeah, sometimes when you take damage from doing the slide attack, it's usually less damage at least, so it's still worth it for that reason. Oh god. Oh, and see, that's where I'm talking about how those bats are terrible. That you can get jumps off them when you're not intending to just because of how random their movements are. They're literally one of the worst enemies in the game for that. Okay, we're actually ahead of time again. Yeah, there's also some free money up there you can get as well, and it's like literally one opportunity to get it. I suppose if you die, you have another shot at it, but generally you don't want to die in a video game. That's usually a bad thing. And then this is one of the little small sections we use up. Oh, I never picked up Upstab. Dang it. Okay, so we will need to pick up Upstab after we finish up this section, because it is highly important for the final boss fight. But because I forgot to actually complete the quest, yeah, we're gonna be having some less efficient XP farming. On you. Yeah, you guys reflect the rockets that this guy shoots to basically destroy them as well. You have to be kind of careful if you have like the other shotgunner out as well. They can still get you. Bombs. Give me bombs. Try to get freebies, because why not? You can destroy that turret, but it's kind of hard to do so with the positioning that it's at. You can absolutely destroy this guy, though. He'll always run away from you, and if you go too far behind him, he'll start running the other way, so you want to try to get him in like a consistent position. Also, once these guys aggro on you, it's basically GG at that point, because they will not leave you alone. You literally have to despawn them off the edge of the screen for them to leave you alone. So now they're despawned. Now we can just proceed like normal. I did not need to grab that magic, but I still went for like a heckin' boss. The hug has to be at the start of the message. You also added Call to X twice, which is also not entirely necessary. But yeah, do the hug at the start, and then you'll ow. And yeah, those the grenadiers with the shield, they are worth some more XP, which is nice. And that was also a perfectly timed level up too. So now, because of this part of the auto scroller, we can just kind of wait for a little bit and just kind of chill. There's the hug. Yeah, my favorite enemies are the guys that just like stay perfectly still. You can just pogo off them for days until they die. Hug success. And here you can actually just jump down. And we're like 2 full screen lengths below, and we're just waiting for the auto scroller to catch up with us at this point. When this game first came out, doing this would actually just kill your character outright. Their character's name is Flame, by the way. But after a certain update, they realized, no, that's actually kind of a dumb mechanic. Let's fix that. And now you can just do that and just, like, stay off screen for literal hours. It's a nice little touch. Okay, I almost did that too early, but thankfully it worked out. Another turret again. This guy's a little easier to get to because of the fact you can just do quick jump attacks like this. Oh god. Yeah, like that. It's also worth a decent amount of XP, but it's not enough to really, like, worry about if you don't get it. Yes, Flame the Dragon. Oh god. Well, since I got that guy aggroed, we have to get him off-screened. Boing, 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 boing. Pogoing enemies is such a silly and fun little way to just destroy them. I love it. And yeah, that's one of the reasons why we get the attack up at the start of the stage, is to make those little sections a little bit faster as well. It's not strictly required, but it just makes things a little nicer as you have a little bit of time to rest in between enemy kills. Okay, even more bombs. I think we're already capped out anyway, but... yeah, it could be sometimes nice to hit those blocks, just make sure you're full up on, like, consumables as well. If I need creative names that hit you up, they may or may not be pronounceable, though. I feel like some characters' names are just not meant to be pronounced ever, either. But that's like, part of the marketable thing for them. So we want to get bombs ready here for the first part of the boss. This boss is basically 2 phases. There's going to be 2 large turrets on the side that we take out with the bombs, and then we switch back to the gun to finish up the final boss itself. And it's going to be 2 bombs on each side, and we do get kind of a delay. We only have 3 bombs on screen at one time. So we can do that, wait for the first bomb to go off, then we can throw that. Then we'll swap the gun. And then we want to fire bullets at this guy from the center here. We can use the little platform up there as kind of a guard, usually against the bullets. Usually the bullets get blocked by that, but we weren't so lucky there. You can also try to avoid the bombs in case they get too close to you. Like the rockets as well. If they get too close to that platform, they can still damage you. So you usually want to kind of dodge away at that point. But for the most part, this is a safe spot. You can just unload your entire clip onto the boss. Just like that. He who must not be named. Why? Is it like cursed? No, there's nobody knows how to pronounce it. There needs to be some game out there with lore where that is actually the lore for why nobody says a person's name. I feel like it's a travesty that's not a thing yet. Yeah, then we watch a little cutscene of at least one of the fleet ships going all the way down. We do a quick little dash and then mash up to pick up the ice ability. So this we'll use a little bit of in one of the mini boss fights coming up, and one piece for like I guess a progression section, so to speak. But the ice ball doesn't get a whole lot of use in this game. It gets some use. It gets infinitely more than lightning does. Lapse in naming conventions. Okay, so now that we've gotten that, we want to fast travel over to City of Alto. And then now is when we have access to an ability called Dragon's Fury, which is which is the fourth thing you can apply your level up points to. It basically gives you invincibility, the ability to fly, although starting the flight is kind of awkward. You have to basically do a triple jump to make it work, and it doesn't always seem to work. And you also do more damage with your sword. But the downside is because you're at full health. Oh, okay, it becomes an issue later on when you get a certain upgrade. Well, we're not getting it now, apparently. Yeah, I do remember to get the upstab at some point. It's not entirely required until we actually get to the final game, which is nice, but yeah, sooner than later would be nice. Although kind of because I've already started this segment, I don't need it for the upcoming stage and boss. Actually, you know what? After we get this segment done, we're going back to the town as a fast travel point anyway. So we're actually kind of minimize our time loss by doing that. Because then we're not doing like an additional fast travel. I'm probably going to forget again, but... You were going to say, like Metopia, then you realize it wasn't what I meant. Yeah, those red guys will always be, like, the bane of my existence. Just because of the way that they operate. That will never change. Oh, that's the problem with trying to go after that guy, is that sometimes he hits the ceiling there instead. Yay, level up. Perfectly timed. Calculated. Yeah, like I said, I don't think upstab is really used extensively here, if at all. So we actually should be fine on holding this off until we get back to the town again. So here's where we have to use the ice ability in order to progress. Then we go back to the wind spell because it's just so freaking useful in this game. Oh god, okay. At least we have the health to mostly deal with that. Okay, this guy's gonna be a pain. We can pick up some extra bombs and some health, which is super nice. Yeah, you're chatting with Chris quite extensively about Metopia moments earlier today. Yeah, I can already tell just how many of those there are just from like what the handful you've shown me already. It's both amusing and concerning in like equal grades. I did Ferret! Ah! Look, welcome in. Thank you for the thing. Let me quick do a shout out while the cutscene's going on.
An adorable little pile of cuties. But enough talk. Welcome on in.
Welcome on in, Ferret and Raiders. How y'all doing tonight? If for those who don't know who I am, my name is Aaron Jevlith. I'm a silly little cat doing silly little things on the silly little internet. Tonight, we are currently doing a recording for our speedrun submission video for Fastest Furs of the game we're playing right now, Heritage of the Dragon's Tail, which is an amazing platformer RPG that if you have not heard of this, I highly recommend checking it out. There's a free demo on Steam you can pick up, and it's just an amazing game, and even like full price, the game is like $8. Give it a shot. You'll like and love it. Yeah, welcome on in. I can't go back and check chat right now because I need to focus on the speed. But welcome in, everybody. I hope you're all doing fantastically tonight. Yeah, that is at this point 2 people whose streams I've been lurking in who have rated me at this point, and that amuses me. But yeah, if you need to do any like post-stream self-care, like you need to like go get food, go get some sleep, or just anything, if you need to do any of that kind of stuff, by all means, do what you need to do. And then thank you again so much for the heckin' raid. I hope you're all doing fantastically. Oh, we couldn't ignore that guy. You are get food. Hope you have a good one. I hope you enjoy your noms. Yeah, the card can do a decent chunk of damage to you if you let it. So I just choose not to let it. Yeah, even when you off screen, the card does come back. Oh, we actually bounced off it. That was convenient. I'm still amazed just how well this run is actually going so far. Usually we have like so many problems by the time we get to the stage. And yeah, this is one of the stages I had the biggest problems with when I was first developing and trying to run the speed run. So it actually feels really good to have this be like a not too bad section most of the time. Ah, wasn't quite far enough. And that's another cool little kind of thing you do as well. If you time your dash right against those blocks right there, you can still like basically crash into all of them with a single jump. It is heckin' cool, fun. It can give you a lot of goodies sometimes. And yeah, for the most part, you don't really need to worry about like when you trigger those little alert things, because half the time the enemy doesn't get enough chance to really react to you anyway. So here you want to use the... Oh, I didn't even do that. Want to use the boomerang to clear out all these little explosives here. You don't have to catch the boomerang necessarily, but it's usually not a bad idea for the most part. Because we're mostly done with the boomerangs for quite a while. And even the section that we do use them in, we'll usually have like refills by that point anyway. Yeah, there are a couple of these little platforms here that do put you in the forward direction, but there's not many of them. And you typically don't get the opportunity to really, like, use them to your benefit, which is unfortunate, but they do exist. You can sometimes use them. Yeah, all those dropping junk piles, they can damage you. So you want to try to avoid those. They don't do a lot of damage, but they're just annoying enough. And they can stop movement if they're unfortunately timed enough. Also, I love when the enemies just, like, fall off the edge like that and just take care of themselves. Yeah, ferret murdered much fungus. I will assume that's a good thing, and I will smile and nod. Pick that health up as a safety. Ow. Come down here. Then while we're waiting for the elevator to go down, we can kind of just slide our way forward while still moving the platform, which is nice. This section is always interesting because there's just literally so much chaos. There's so many things falling at such a relatively fast rate. You're lacking critical context? No context is needed. Just men. Oh god. Okay. It's technically slow to take this guy out. Unless he does that, actually, because then we get a good, like, proper chain on him. Also, interacting with anything that is, like, actual fire base has a chance to literally set you on fire, which does the exact same thing as the poison, where it just... How do we not take damage from that? Murder fungus for profit and upgrades. Okay, you know what? We are using an item here to be safe. Yeah, because you do end up, like, kind of inadvertently collecting some health items, and you can use those as for basically some extra precaution. Once you run out of health items, you can then just start using the level ups you have for extra health points. But I usually try to avoid those as much as I can, just make sure I'm getting all the possible attacks that I can. How? Why'd you do that? No boops. Boops are illegal. Welcome on in, Solace. How you doing tonight? Just men. It helps if you want it to help. You're welcome. Okay, then here is the section we want to do two kind of specifically targeted bombs, so we can get rid of the big guy and take care of the two small guys. He does drop a key to a section with an SMG, or basically a submachine gun, but we have no use for the submachine gun, so we just don't even bother trying to grab it. Use that to kind of bypass the little platform there. Yeah, not just men, lizard men. One of the best kinds of men. Oh, I didn't go quite down far enough. Okay, these guys are a pain in the ass. They do two damage per bullet. But I've somehow managed to find ways to get past them easily. Oh my god. How are we alive? Okay, we're not even close to level up, so we'll just use another item there. But yeah, I'm used to those big machine gun guys causing so many problems. But this run and last run, for some reason, they've had, like, absolutely no impact. And I am surprised in such a pleased sense. I mean, what is a dragon but just a big lizard? Yeah, that guy we can mostly ignore. He doesn't really stay on screen long enough to do anything substantial. Big scaly men. Oh, I thought I could avoid damage there. Oh well. At least we have enough health to be able to tank that without too much issue. I didn't even see that block there. Yeah, you can actually like bounce off the center of his head to avoid all the bullet shots and then go through when you have the opportunity. Oh god. Okay, I'll take that damage over the possible poison damage from the acid. There we go. Avoid damage as much as possible. Yeah, for some reason, the bottom of those little chain things, they do count as actual, like, hard platforms, so you can't just, like, jump up over them, which is unfortunate. You can dash here just anytime you like. They only do 1 damage. But if you had, like, one health or 1 heart or less, then you actually want to wait out for the cycle. We have 1 last checkpoint before the boss. This guy is mostly harmless. You can just kind of ignore him. Oh, I actually got the reflect there. Nice. I was not expecting that. You are permitted no further context. First clip of the month. Let's go. Okay, so here's another section where we actually use our gun. Oh, I didn't get any gun upgrades. Oh, that's actually unfortunate. No, I'll just let you walk off the edge then. Oh, I thought I swapped to... Dang it. Okay, I'm amazed that backup worked. I have never had to do that backup before, so I'm so glad it worked out. I will take the bombs, because I think we still need them at some point. Normally I do reflect that guy's rocket, but I just don't feel like it right now. Yeah, the blacksmith guys are basically like the hammer bros. There we go. There's the ointment I was talking about, including the bomb drops. Yeah, as long as we take out the big guy, that's the important bit. I guess I should have picked up the bullets, but oh well. Yeah, here we are at the boss. We're actually making pretty good time right now. Okay, if we actually get this first try, we actually might be on potential world record pace. So you want to come over here, you do a bunch of free focus on this guy. So the opening phase for this fight is always the same. Then he does his little bomb throwing. Try to stick a couple more bongos or bounces in. Wait for him to do that. Get a bunch of attacks here. At this point, the weapon that he gets here chooses what attacks he does and what pattern he does. And this is entirely random. He could have the same weapon again. He could use this little submachine gun. He could have just a regular pistol. Or he could use a big bomb thrower, which is both the best and worst phase at the same time. Because those bombs do full bomb damage to you, which is like 3 hearts. But you can also reflect them back onto Mechos and get some big damage out of it, too. It's okay, and there's the big bomb. Ah, dang it. I didn't get to actually reflect any. Yeah, the bombs only do damage if you actually reflect them back. So we kind of missed opportunity to do damage there, but honestly, the fact that we survived, I will take that in a heartbeat. Oh, wow. We're only 1 hit away. Are you serious? I could have skipped that entire phase if I had just been a little bit more brave. So this section, you basically want to reflect pretty much every single grenade and missile that you can when they get fired. It's the only way to do like any actual decent damage. I usually start by going further to the left here so you can kind of prime the bomb grenades in a specific spot. Then just like slightly forward. And yeah, the bombs still do a full amount of damage to you, so you want to be careful so you don't take damage yourself. But yeah, otherwise you just want to reflect the grenades back as best as you can. Now, in this section, the grenades won't always hit because of the just the random position you sometimes get. But every single one you can get is obviously worth it. Oh. Okay, I wasn't even trying to dodge for that one, but I managed to dodge so it wouldn't take no damage. Okay, so we're going to miss one hit here because we don't have the upstab, but honestly, that's not like the worst thing at this point. So more rockets. Oh, so cool. You know what? There we go. Let's second go. Gold split. Let's go. Okay, so fast travel back to here. So now we'll go back here and actually pick up our upside like we were supposed to have earlier. We don't need any more upgrades from Blacksmith. We are, in fact, winning. We are actually kind of on... Well, yeah, we're actually on world record pace right now, which I have not been in, like, literal months. Yeah, thankfully we had to fast travel there anyway, so we didn't lose any time for that. Okay, we got kind of lucky there. But what do you mean, Aaron? No. What did I do? I did everything right, I promise. I mean, the thing is, there's not really a lot that is going against at this point. Like, the fire region coming up is still potentially going to be an issue. Maybe, like, the final area, but... I don't know, I feel like I've gotten mostly decent enough where I'm not really going to have too much of a problem with those. Yeah, I'm actually kind of feeling good about this. Oh, saved it. See, that's proof. I saved myself from dying within literally a frame. That's how you know this is the urn. Yeah, I imagine the run submission video that we do for this is we just get a casual record. This shall be the worst run ever. May our plays be filled with glitches and misinputs. Saved it. Wow. Wow, King. Wow. Too bad I don't need those bombs anymore. That'd be kind of a nice pickup to get right there. I'm trying to protect you from yourself. Well, it's too late. I've already cursed myself as it is. Come down through here. Oh, that was not the right movement. Oh, come. Oh my god, game. Okay, you know what? We probably shouldn't be using the big heal everything potion, but heck it, we're doing it. I don't want to use many level up points. I don't have to. Okay, we're good. See, everything's fine. The slowest robo-hisser the world has ever seen. I mean, there are some... I mean, okay, slow isn't necessarily the worst thing, as long as it's good. As long as you're a good robo-hisser, that's the important thing. I could actually probably do another attack up at this point, but eh. Can you be as slow as Scaly? I mean, you can be whatever you want to be. You just have to believe in yourself enough. That was not how I expected that to go, but it kind of worked out. Got some free XP out of it. Your skill in games is absolutely cursed? I mean, that's what practice is for. Just play something enough, you'll get just naturally at least good-ish at the game. Come on. Yeah, you can perform well above your expectations with... Oh, I need to focus on this little section right here. Okay, that was actually a good way to bait that ghost guy out of that path. Because that guy has caused me a fair share of deaths at this point. I just love that little quick bounce section there with the ceiling and stuff like that. Yeah, this is another section we can't go through in one cycle either. We have to wait at least at some point. Yeah, if you get hit by these things as they're like trying to crush you, they'll do, I think, like 4 or 5 hearts of damage. Maybe more than that, so you definitely want to avoid that as much as you can. We got lucky with the timing there, though. Yeah, you perform well above your expectation with high difficulty situations, but the easy things, that is literally speedrun in a nutshell. All the easy stuff is hard and all the hard stuff is easy. And so we skipped a bunch of cutscenes in there with the cutscenes turned off that explains like how literally everything in the world just changed, both, you know, physically and with like the relationships with the Flame and the other characters in the game, stuff like that. Like I said, once we get to the actual event in Fastest Furious, I'll be able to go into more, at least some level of detail. I'm still gonna be vague enough so people can get a full, or like the kind of good first playthrough of it when playing through the story, but I'll give at least like the, not sure the proper term for it is, but the Cliff Notes version. I think the phrase I want to use. We have kind of like a general sense of what's happening. Okay, we worked. Again, wind spell, best spell in the game. You can use it to cancel out so many mistakes. Except for mistakes that are caused by using the spell. Those you cannot fix. So I'll basically be Dirt Games Ambassador? Pretty much, yeah. That's kind of what I'm trying to do right now with just like, you know, playing this game so much and kind of rating into people who are asking, oh, that sounds like a cool game, what's that about? Then I get to share the game with them and potentially make other people like be aware, oh god, of the game's existence. Yeah, 'cause I would love to get more people speedrunning this game, but if I just get more people just aware of the game and just playing it casually, that's also a big win as far as I'm concerned. Just more people need to know about this game, just straight up. As a dragon, clap, clap, clap. Ooh, how did I avoid those? Okay, so we come up and grab this tower. We will not do anything with the area itself. We are just grabbing it as a fast travel point. This is a very, well, as the name of Central Torga states, it is a very central point for all the areas we're going through. This section of the game is actually pretty open-ended. You can do any of these 3 segments in any order. I prefer to do this segment at this point because it gives us a very useful upgrade as far as being able to like not be in panic mode the entire time when we're playing through most of the other stages. I think we should have enough skill points we can level up attack again here. Oh, we got plenty of level up points. Let's second go. So yeah, this is one of those sections that caused me a lot of struggle, both casually and in the speed run. I feel like I've gotten better with this in the speed run at least over the past handful of months. So we should be good on that front. But yeah, important thing to note is that pretty much everything in this area will set you on fire if you take damage from it. You want to be extremely careful. And yeah, we do the attack up upgrade as well so we can actually one-shot the fire bats. Because without that, they would not be one-shottable. Yeah, if you go fast enough, you can actually skip that little lava plume segment. You can still kind of use the wind spell in some instances to get above the flame after it started, but it's usually much better. Oh god. Yeah, that guy is also a pain because he can also do like the stun and stun lock and massive damage with his hammer, and he can also set you on fire as well, like everything else here. And this is one of the reasons why we pick up that one burn ointment specifically from the Mecho's ships, so we can use it for like mitigation in case we get like just the wrong time or take too much damage or something like that. But so far we're doing good. Yeah, we can skip over that pretty easily, which is nice. Those are easy to skip. We can use wind to just completely jump over that and just ignore it exists. Or ignore the fact that it exists. I can speak the Englishing. Yeah, rule number 1 about speedrunning this game, always get the checkpoints, because you never know when shenanigans are going to strike. Okay, I got lucky there. I should have gotten, like, burned literally and figuratively so many times in that. Okay, so I can just get on the platform like that. That's good to know. You just jump scared yourself with boss music from your SoundCloud, you are your own final boss. I mean, there are a number of games that do have that as kind of a theme. And there's our fire. Yeah, I think we're fine for the time being. We can still try to go fast. So here you want to do a quick dash here. Dash and dash. You can skip all those. Okay, now that our fire has run out, let's do a safety level up. So we can get our health back. Just keep going. Yeah, you forget to hit with, like, the basic, like, aftershock there. That's a lot less damage than the actual hammer itself would have, so I'm fine with that. Now, unfortunately, this we can't get through, so we'll just kill this guy while we're waiting. There we go. Yeah, there are going to be some cycles that just aren't viable, which is unfortunate, but we've actually had a lot of good luck with this run, so I will absolutely take this. For the checkpoint. Heron, my boy. Most precious of beings. Got this. Thank you for the vote of confidence. Oh, God. I mean, I kind of expected that, to be honest, so... Hey, avoided damage from that. Let's go. Oh, no. Well, we're already on fire anyway, so let's just get hit again. Oh, what hit me? Oh, God. Okay, you know what? Another safety level. I do like to minimize these as much as possible, but... Yeah, because I think I'm also still on fire and there's still so much other stage left to go. I was hoping to get another, like, fire ointment in case we needed it. Oh, well. Now I'm definitely glad I did the safety level. Okay, at least there's a checkpoint here. Ow. Oh, God. Okay, yeah, you can do that to get across that at least, which is nice. But it can be a little tricky to get the timing down. Oh, God. Okay, that works. Oh, yeah, you can attack the little Potowu-style enemies here. Perfect time for level up a second go. So we use our ice spell as a backup for damage here. Here we're going to be using the down stab and kind of chaining with its hitbox to do a boatload of damage. So yeah, it's a good thing we got the level up here because we're taking a lot of damage just by doing this as well. We'll grab that. The spiciest of Durgs. It is Super Cajun Spice Durg. Don't have any health potions, so we'll do another safety level. Oh, we didn't need to. He was literally so close to being dead. If I had paid attention to that. Okay, we actually needed that because I took a hit there anyway. We actually never even needed the ice spell. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to have enough experience to get an extra level up before the next mini-boss fight, but that'll be fine. We'll at least have enough XP for safety levels in case we need those again. Yeah, you can also do a slide to get through these fire guys without setting them off or taking damage or anything like that. Yeah, not all enemies can be slidable to avoid damage or to stun them, whatever, but there are enough of them that are viable to do that with, that it's actually a really useful ability. Yeah, no damage. Let's go. Oh, no, you don't. Alright, so this is a bit of a side journey. We could technically not get this in the run, but for me, right now, the run is kind of too scary for the amount of damage we would take without this upgrade that I'm still including in the run. I'm kind of hoping that someday people get good enough at this to not have to get this upgrade all the time. But for me, yeah, this is a hard yet. Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, as long as you get hit out of the stun without being hit by the hammer itself, it becomes not nearly as bad. Okay, let's do that. We're at plenty of health as it is. So now we will need the ice spell because we're not going to get nearly as much healing. Ah, come on. Come on. Oh. Yeah, you can reflect the boulders, but they don't really do any significant damage, unfortunately. Yeah, it's super slow doing the pogo that way, but sometimes it's just the way you gotta do it. Oh, come on. This is not going so well. Yeah, it's slower this way because we don't get to do the damage chain, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, we can take like one more hit, and then we'll do another safety level. Yeah, we could have gotten the bonus, another attack up there, but it's not worth it, especially when we still need the healing. Get him. Get him, I say. Got him. And now all damage we take from all sources, except for poison and fire, I think, is now halved. So we can tank us so much more damage at this point. Yeah, we won't even need to theoretically, or at least we shouldn't have to theoretically, do any more safety or health level ups. Oh god, oh god, oh god, no, 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 no. Okay, and that's why we get that upgrade. Because that would almost have one-shot us at that point. But now it only takes like 40% of our health. We'll be back momentarily. Take my blessings in my absence. I will gladly accept the blessings. Also left with is basically a face there. We jump out of the mouth and there's like the flame eyes up above. It's a really cool aesthetic. And we can't quite... Actually, I don't know how we didn't get set on fire there. Normally you get like set on fire almost 100%. Well, yeah, almost 100% of the time when you interact with the lava plume like that. But I will absolutely take it. Okay, you can get across here too with the right jumping. Oh, I thought I could get past that in time. Dang it. We should be relatively close to a checkpoint. Nothing else. For an ointment and another potion. That works. Oh, I didn't even need to do the wind spell there. It was dying down naturally anyway. Ow. Ow. Yeah, let's safety level. Okay, now, so this is the last time we've used the boomerangs. This is really good, especially for like the early segment of this fight. So he's gonna start over there. Then we just throw our boomerangs from the side safely. And every time he does this fire breath, we want to just unload boomerangs at him. Now, the third time he does this, he'll do like a little kind of wave fire attack. You can get a couple down stab pogos in him when you do that. Or not if you're like my skill level. Yeah, since we're on fire, we have the half damage upgrade. This isn't really as bad as it could be. Get him. I'll go ahead and take this health now. We're not really wasting it because it's just a small potion. Then he goes back to these attacks again. We just unleash more boomerangs. We want to stay under the center of the stage this time because there's a platform that's kind of covered up by his name that does help keep us safe. There we go. Let's go. Ow. And we break some of the elemental seals. Okay, another gold split. This might actually 100% be the urn. Now, you have two routes you can go here. You can just go straight left from here for the kind of easier route where it's easier to dodge possible random encounters. Or you can go through here, which is a lot tighter, but it does save a few seconds. In that case, we won the coin flip on that one. Let's I can go. So I think with the way we've gotten experience points so far, we should be able to get the last attack upgrade, like, immediately. If not the last, the second. Okay, second to last attack upgrade. Yeah, we're pretty close to getting our attack maxed out before the boss of this region. But yeah, each of the regions at this point in the game are going to have very distinct themes. One of them is basically fire/lava themed. Get this back on. I always forget you can go up the upper path and it's like super safe. But I never remember to actually go for it. But yeah, we basically have like the nighttime undead section of the game, which has one of the enemies that I just kind of despise the most because it does just so many annoying things. Usually we're able to avoid it, but I still hate it so much. It literally still causes me stress if I hear it scream. And also being inside the little grass patch there does in fact slow you down, so you want to try to avoid that as much as possible. You know you literally can't see it half the time. Yeah, for the most part, at least the enemies here aren't really all that annoying. I mean, you got like the flying head ghosts, which are their same level of annoying, but there's not like anything super special or different. Except for the one enemy I'm talking about from later on. Also, if you dash when going through that little stage transition, you for some reason like snap back into the entrance for some reason. Oh god. Okay, so the water there can poison you if you stay in for either too long or if you get like just the wrong RNG. So it's kind of like we didn't get poisoned there. Get the checkpoint. So yeah, those hands can grab you and basically just hold you in place for a while. They're annoying, but they're not so bad technically. Also, yeah, that major actually throws basically a barrier that can push you back, but you can also use it as a platform to get the right positioning for it, which amuses me. So that enemy right there, the zombie. If that thing if you get that thing's attention and it's close enough, it will scream. And the scream can stun you, and then he does like a grab attack that does like a whole bunch of damage on you. And it's like literally the worst thing in the world. I avoid it with every single fiber of my being that I can. Also, this enemy is bad as well, because if you get hit by his projectile there, which is actually... Oh, yep, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. Thankfully, we got damage boosted by the... Well, we're already poisoned, so being here doesn't really do that much bad. But yeah, then the zombie will just lock onto you, because that stun lasts for so friggin' long. Oh, actually knocked the imp off. That was interesting. And another arena time. So this is one of my most hated arenas because one enemy in here is like a pain in the ass to try to deal with. And yeah, I will try to watch my language when it comes to the actual like speedrun event. But yeah, this is one particular enemy in this section is a literal pain. Because it's this guy, because we cannot reflect his attacks, and he curses us. Yep, and there's the curse. So what curse does is it reverses all of your directional path controls. So left is right, right is left, up is down, and down is up. And the only way you can like reasonably do damage to him that I found is by doing the little boomerang strat. Now, thankfully, this guy... Oh, that's actually perfect, because we can reflect his attacks and do damage to the big guy, and then himself. Okay, that was actually kind of beautiful overall. I will take that in a heartbeat. That was actually a really good arena. Oh, no, you don't. You ain't knocking me into no pits. Oh, God. Okay. Yeah, one thing that is useful to know later on, it doesn't really become apparent in the early game, but usually in, like, the end game region. Friend? One thing that does become apparent later on is that when you use the wind spell, if you get hit by an enemy after using it, but before falling to the ground, you actually do regain your use of the wind spell. But you also need to be careful about that, because there are some occasions where you think you get it back, but you actually don't. Because oh god. I was supposed to stay on top of that platform. Oh, okay. I'm not getting myself cursed again if I can avoid it. There we go. Okay, I am very bad at jumping this section for some reason. Now, avoid the zombie like the plague, because it is the plague. There we go. I do also love how like the lava and the poison water can actually still do damage to enemies as well, so you can like accidentally get free XP. One of my favorite little things about this game too. Why can I just knock it on top of the platforms this run? Okay, that is a checkpoint you can easily miss. You don't necessarily need it for this section, but if you happen like just have like the wrong movement, you still want to pick it up. Friend? Friends! Let's play the running away from the friends game. Oh boy, isn't this fun? Yeah, you don't want to get too far ahead because there is a pit there you can fall into if you're not careful, but it's fairly easy to still skip past. The Skelt, plural. Yeah, this is another kind of little mini auto-scroller section. There's not really too much to worry about here, honestly. Just as long as you don't fall into a pit, you don't take in, like too much random damage, you're fine. But yeah, if you stay ahead, you can actually avoid kind of most of the damage. And for whatever reason, you actually get like a random number of these skeletons by the end of the stage. Usually you'll get 3, sometimes you'll get 4. Rarely you'll have 2 left over. And it's always amusing to see like what number you end up with. And also with that level up, we can now max out... Oh, never mind, we can't yet. I thought we could max out our attack at that point. Oh no, after this we can. No, we're still 1 level off. Interesting. Okay, so 1 more level up point, and then we can max out our attack, which we want to have ready before the boss here. Because one of the benefits of getting a max attack is that you get an additional 16 points of attack power on top of all your regular level up. So the last level up is basically like an extra 20 attack power instead. Yeah, you definitely want all the attack power you can get at this point in the game. Yeah, I don't know if we can actually... Yeah, for one level point off. Alright, so the answer to this question here is always going to be 5. He's basically asking how many portraits of the big boss for this region are in this room. And thankfully it doesn't count any of the ones you can't see. But because of the way that the lore works, there's actually 5 of those portraits. And at least in the portion you can see. I still need to test at some point if maybe going the other route is actually any faster or not. But I have not had the opportunity to test that yet. Although one day, TM. This is another section we have to wait for the cycle. There's just no other choice. You ain't cursing me. Okay, I can't finish those guys off in one attack. That's unfortunate. I'm trying to see if I can get some like quick experience on them. I don't think we're gonna get max attack by the time we get to the boss, which is really gonna suck. Oh, well, okay. I tried a little bit of advanced tech there, but it didn't work. But I think with that, we're definitely not getting the attack out that we need at the end. Unless we have the map now and I just didn't do it. Yeah, we're 1 skill point off. Dang. So the boss fight here is going to be a lot slower then. Which is unfortunate. Yeah, normally I don't do like brave things like that, so... Thank you. It'd be nice if we got like a super big XP bubble, but the ones that would get us enough to get another level up point don't use your turn to like the actual very end of the game. We're gonna be kind of stuck with just what we have now. Ow. 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 Heck all y'all. Oh my god, please. Yeah, sometimes you can actually, like, get the dash in just in time to get up on top of the platform. But yeah, we're just not getting that kind of luck tonight. Oh, okay. Again, that's where we're getting the spell again after getting hit comes in real handy. And I'm out of MP now, that's great. Or we're at the boss anyway, so... You know, unfortunately, we're going to be doing a lot less damage during this, so it's going to be a slow fight. I do theorize it is possible to skip the second phase of this fight if you do the right amount of damage at the start, and then do enough counterattack damage during one of his particular attacks. But so far, it's still just theoretical. I don't know if it's actually possible yet or not. And we don't need any special spells or anything, we just need our straight-up sword attack power. And he'll have two different attacks, so we can actually reflect back at him for extra damage. We're going to try and do those as much as we can, especially the second one. So this one, you can get some reflection damage on him. It usually doesn't work. Then here's the first one we can counterattack. Ah, come on. And then here we go with the big attack. Okay, I got a good chunk of damage off of that. Yeah, if our attack score was better, we actually might have been able to get him close to getting KO'd there. We were doing so much more damage, but alas. He'll grab this while I'm waiting for things to happen. Yes, he does like teleport around at this point, so we can't really do a lot of damage to him. How dare. Yeah, I normally don't let him live this long, so I'm actually not even sure what this attack is. There we go. Yeah, we lost a good bit of time there from the death and not having enough level up points, but that's okay. We're still technically ahead. Yeah, we do have like a almost free time save in the next split, as long as I'm careful enough. We still have some time to save on the last stage of the game as well, so we still have a decent chance. Let me come up. Yeah, because we had, I think we had like 2 deaths and like a random encounter on this split in our PB. So we should be able to save a decent bit of time here. So yeah, we had our lava stage, we had our undead stage, now we have the ice stage. And for whatever reason, this is like the shortest of all the end game stages. Like the second of the 2 stages here in particular seems like especially short, and I don't really know why that is. Although one thing that is worth noting is that once you get to like this half of the game, the checkpoints are so much more prevalent. It's like I kind of think that the dev kind of realized kind of how brutal the save points could be, or checkpoints could be before, so I think he toned it down. Also, now we can max out our attack. Now, all of our level points can be used just for emergency healing, with no worry for anything else. Oh, yeah, if you just jump on those guys, they will actually explode like that, and every single part of that can freeze you straight up. And it'll usually end in your death. You're like over a pit or something, so you usually want to try to avoid that. You can do that usually by pogoing on top of the slime instead, or by sliding through it, which will give the effect of killing it without triggering the freeze abilities. And also, as long as you're off screen, nothing can hit you. It's a beautiful concept. There'll be other things that being off screen will be useful for as well in one of the upcoming stages. Ow. You can also slide through that guy, but it's not always necessary. Like in that case, we will just like jump over him. Like here, you can do that and get by him just fine. Just jumping a little more awkward in that spot. Yeah, I'm usually very cautious about trying to attack those guys because their hitbox is very, let's call it awkward. But yeah, as long as you're kind of careful enough, you can just go around them pretty easily. I'm beyond the plane of comprehension. Of course it can't be damaged. If I can't see it, it doesn't exist. The rule of object unpermanence. Which is one of my favorite rules in video gaming, personally. At least when it can be used in your favor. The times that it can't is when it's annoying. Bop. Another big kind of extended long jump section here. Yeah, again, this is why the wind spell is such a good heckin' spell. You can do so many cool little movements to get across sections that would normally take forever to get across. Now, there are upgrades to each of the elemental spells in this game, including the wind spell, one of which gives you a forward momentum. It's unfortunately awkward to charge, where it takes like a second of actual like charge time to make it work. And even then, you still fall from gravity like in the middle of the use of it. So I've yet to find an actual use for it, and I also don't remember where to get the upgrade for the wind spell. I don't know why I tried that. For some reason, I thought I could slip through there and like double jump at the end, but yeah, it's such a tight window to do that. Which of course now we have to go through all that previous section again. Which is why rule number 1 in this game: don't die. That is how you lose all of your time. Yeah, usually you just want to attack one of them so you can get a better timing with the other one, instead of having to, like, combine them together. Also, we did kind of like a Mario 1 wall clip wall jump in there, which I feel like is a tech that could potentially be used to some degree in this game, but I don't know to what extent, or how to even, like, make it consistent. Oh yeah, I didn't feel it wasn't going to be far enough. Yeah, because the platforms do alter your momentum as you're walking and moving on them. And if you're going against the wind on them, you literally have no movement speed or momentum. So you have to kind of account for that. I wish you had more than half a screen to have with the wind at your back. But instead, it's just that one little bit. But yeah, now we're at the end of the first stage here. Yeah, and this section can also be a little bit awkward. Yeah, because like the regular random encounter means you have so much trouble seeing because they like are almost the same color as the environment. You can easily get a random encounter without even trying. Okay, at least when they're stopped to begin with, it makes it so much easier to avoid them. But yeah, they are a pain otherwise. Okay, that was definitely a good spawn there. That, not so much. Okay, that worked. Alright, as long as we don't die in this stage at all, we should be good for keeping ourselves ahead of time. Yeah. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, we made it. Backup strat. You feel extra tired today from anxiety? Well, stop it. You should feel extra, you should feel extra tired from being extra cool the entire day. Like you always are. So this is a boss I still don't have a really clear strategy for trying to fight yet. Because you can reflect these little ice gold pieces here, but they do like 14 damage. It's just not significant. Yeah, and then unfortunately she sometimes does that, which then makes it a little harder to get back to her. Oh. I will get to the opinion redeem after this boss fight, because this does kind of require some attention. Oh, dang it. Okay, got a good pogo chain there. Honestly, I think it's probably better if I just did the upstab from below, but... Oh, come on. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, that was actually not that bad a fight overall. Let's second go. Actually, we're pretty close to a gold... Wait, we were close to a gold split there? Have I died every single run on this split? Something good about you leaving yourself at the mercy of the cat? That the cat will always be cuddling you. That's what happens when you leave yourself at the mercy of the cat. So now we come back to the second town, and suddenly we're fighting our brother. Don't worry about it. Lots of lore stuff. It's nothing to worry yourself about. It's just usual brother versus brother spat over literally life and death and existence. Yeah, you do get a boatload of Dragon's Fury points, so you can use that against him, but yeah, he moves so quickly that even having the extra speed and attack power from that just doesn't really do a lot in my experience. I'm just gonna grab this now. Yeah, we used to grab the counterattack ability, kind of mostly for this fight, but it's really not that worth it in the end for the time it takes. And the little time you actually save from it. So you can actually loop this section of the fight here by doing a bunch of pogos on him during that section, and he'll just like loop this bit over and over. How did that go that quickly? How did I... Okay. I don't know what I did different, but I'll take it. Oh, that was almost a gold split. Oh, no. Oh god. What did I just do? Okay, no, screen 3. That has never happened before. Okay, so I need to... Oh, no, okay. Oh my god, I am completely... I don't know how I changed the screen size there, and I didn't know how to get out of it immediately. Okay, so if you enter most stages accidentally, you can just click go to map. You can kind of get out that way. And here comes the only glitch that we actually use in the course of the run that we found to be useful. You can enter this part of the forest here, immediately leave, and come back out on the other end of the forest. You can just skip that entire section. My computer itself seeks to deny me a record. All the forces are against me. Gold split madness? I mean, we got like almost hashtag almost gold split madness. Not all the forces? This is true. I have my friends at my side. Yay, power of friendship. And here is the final section of the game, Yggdrasil, which consists of basically two kind of subsections. You are technically an existential force. I mean, everybody can have a little bit of an existential force as a treat. Also, this is definitely where I want to level up magic a couple times, because we will be using a lot of magic in this little section. Also, once we finish up the fight with Ash, we actually get a sword upgrade as well, which gives us a sword beam, which is actually kind of worse than you would think. Also, you can technically try to get on that platform there ahead of time. It's really specific in how the timing for it works, and it doesn't save that much time, so if you don't get it the first try, you just go the normal way. There is a much easier and more significant impact that'll occur that kind of strat later on, but for now, it's just, if you get it, cool. If you don't, oh well. Salas, you're a cutie, you're a good friend, and I'm always glad to have you here. Oh god. Okay, I'm not sure how I didn't land on that platform, but we made it work. That's another, like, minor glitch there, where that enemy just doesn't land on any platforms, it just falls right through the pit. It doesn't really do anything for, like, the speedrun, but it's always fun. Oh god, we actually didn't take damage from that. Let's go. Also, completely targeted shot. Definitely not pure RNG. Don't listen to the goblins telling you otherwise. Yay, lots of teleporters in the stage. Oh. Okay, salvage that. Oh, no, get the checkpoint. There's pretty much never a reason not to get a checkpoint. No matter how skilled you feel you are at this game, you always want to grab the checkpoint. And I'm sad that the quote-unquote endgame version of those enemies, I'm sad that they don't die in one hit anymore. In one of the earlier patches, you could reflect a grenade with like max attack and actually still be able to destroy them, because reflected damage does scale based on your attack power. But during one of the recent patches, for whatever reason, they made the grenades do less damage by base, so you can't just one-shot those guys anymore. They didn't... How was that not enough to get up there the first time? Yeah, it's not like they offer like a lot of XP at that point, but it's just it would have been nice to be able to keep them as a like extra XP. And they were already a billion times more than we need, but still. Also remember, bone chasers are friend. Exactly. They are the friendliest friends who will ever friend, if you just give them the chance. I wish there were more vertical sections like this one, because this section is so fun with the wind spell. That's like the only time we get to do that. It makes me sad that that's the only time. I didn't realize I could one-shot those guys by down-stabbing them. That's cool. Oh god. There we go. A little bit of mistiming, but it's okay. Yeah, I just need to figure out who of your friends will be available to help you set up with the test stream tomorrow. What time are you planning for the test stream? Do you have any like particular time in mind, or just whatever happens to be ready? Oh god. Yeah, once you start sliding in like in a forced enclosed space like that, you do not unslide until you are finished, until you actually like can stand up. So technically that was a bit... Well, I wasn't even trying to do that, but it was especially risky if I did that, but thankfully it worked out. Oh god. Oh god, now nothing's working. Okay. Oh god, okay. I kind of figured that was going to go wonky, so I was prepared. Yeah, literally, the way to get good at this speedrun is just expect everything to go bad, so that when it does go bad, you're prepared for it. At least mentally. I could have saved a second and not picked that up, but eh. Yeah, 'cause we have more than enough level up points to keep ourselves safe anyway. And boss time. I actually got ahead of the camera there? I didn't know I could do that. Coming up with new strats live on stream. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Okay, bro. Okay. Okay, that one didn't get me. This fight used to go so cleanly for me every time, and I don't know why, but now I just have all the problems with it. Oh no. There we go. You don't know yet? Fair enough. Yeah, if it's in like the late afternoon / early evening, I can probably try to hang out for you. Yeah, 'cause I should be available about like 6:30, 7 p.m.-ish Central, if you need any kind of assistance. Because otherwise, I do have work for like the entire day beforehand. Stupid work. Time is set in stone. I gotcha. Yeah, I'll do my best to aid you if you ever in the event that you need it. Now we're at part 2 of Yggdrasil. The Skylands. They're not like actually in lore called Skylands, but that's what everything kind of looks like, so I just call it Skylands. So these angel guys are annoying. Their spears will do... Hold on, I'm gonna take it safe there. Yeah, those spears will do a lot of damage to you, and again, it's one of the reasons why we do get the half damage upgrade from earlier on. Yeah, even with half damage, they still do 3 full hearts of damage. Yeah, definitely as a safety, we keep getting that. Oh, that a good down stab him in time. Oh, God. Okay, we managed to get stuck in the wall again, which actually let us have a split second to catch our breath, which was amazing. Yeah, I really need to work on your self-esteem if just thinking about streaming trigger anxiety. Yeah, I would say if you can find at least something, like some kind of more focused reason for what's triggering it, at least then you might be able to kind of more address it and trying to get that taken care of. And I don't know if you're going to be able to find something like that. I don't know, maybe just the idea of it is just stressful enough. But yeah, if you can try to find at least some kind of focus for it, I think that might be able to help you at least target what's going on and kind of mitigate at least that one thing. That'd be the only advice I can give for that. I'm not sure how I got through that without taking damage, but that was cool. Funny enough, this is one of those sections where, like, for the first 2 platform rides, actually, yeah, for the first 2 platform rides, you gain literally no time by trying to go fast. You would get there the same amount of time with just the regular movement. Anxiety be damned, you're at least going to go get your audio lobes and set up. Yeah, as much prep work as you can get done ahead of time, it's only going to do you good at that point. Okay, so we got set on fire, but that's fine, because once we enter a teleporter, we get cured of all status ailments. So we're actually perfectly safe. Okay, so here's another section where, being off screen, the fire snake actually loses track of you, and he actually, like, stops getting ahead of you, and he actually leaves you alone. So yeah, the fire snakes, for the most part, are easy to deal with. There's gonna be like 1 or 2 where you can't get off the screen, so you still have to deal with them. But those areas are so much simpler anyway. Make sure we don't get grabbed. Oh, come on. I was thinking about those little upper nubs there. Yay, sword beams. Oh wait, speed bubble. Not nearly as useful at this point, but still kind of nice to see. So this is actually a section where we can skip a couple screens worth of stuff. So we do wind to get up here, wind again to get up here, and there we skipped about, I think, like 10 or so seconds worth of gameplay just by doing that. And it's a surprisingly easy time save too. Just as long as you know you can do that, you can do it. It is super simple, no like special tech needed or anything. Pew, pew, pew. Yeah, this is another section where we want to go fast so you can avoid getting crushed by the little thing there. Which thankfully isn't that hard. You just go, keep dashing, and just don't get hit. That's all you need to do for that section. Okay, that did not work out as well as I had hoped. So unfortunately, well, we can get rid of him now, but yeah, we're already at the end of the section anyway, so... Oh, well, we still made it across. As long as we don't die, that's the important bit. Also, this guy tries so hard to be a threat. He really does try. He just has no idea how to. Like, literally, the only time he ever does damage to us is if I dash too far ahead and I just, like, run into him. His attacks, like, never hit us otherwise. Ow. Heck you. Oh, I thought I'd get fast or ahead of that, but that failed. At least we're still close to a checkpoint, I think. And we do have space on our PB, or our split on this PB to still die, so I think we still have a chance to be overall ahead. And of course, the electrical mage guy always knocks you back super far. Oh god. Oh, we couldn't even get started there. Okay, that's a good start, actually. Make it all through in one wave. Yeah, this is one of the guys that we really can't skip. Actually, we kind of can. It's just, for some reason, it's inconsistent based on how he moves. But yeah, you can actually skip that guy sometimes. It's just a little out of your control whatnot you can. Couple wind spells to climb up this quickly. Really happy to be back in your bedroom. Bedroom is always literally the coziest place out of like any living area. Okay, I kind of button mashed there, and it somehow worked out. I will accept that. You actually have this bedroom for your entire life, so it's essentially a safe spot? That's kind of cool, actually. Yeah, I've had quite a few places I've lived in throughout my entire life. Especially, like, in my early adult years, I moved around, like, quite a decent bit, so I'm kind of used to having, like, multiple places to sleep for the most part. But yeah, having a good familiar spot is always definitely nice, too. So much more cozy than literally anywhere else you could sleep. So this is, like, the one fire snake that can actually do things to us, if we let him. I'm gonna do my best to not let him. Hey, we didn't let him. Let's go. Oh, he just went bye-bye. My domain! Yeah! I was like one pixel away from actually triggering him. Yeah, for some reason, like, the new version of that guy is nowhere near as threatening or scary as the original version of him. He does literally the same amount of damage, too. Which, granted, might be because of the half damage relic we got, but still, he's just not a threat. Especially given by this point we have just a lot more max health than the way that the runs typically go. Bop. There we go. Okay, I thought that might have been too far, but we were good. It's actually fairly blank after remodeling to it. Hopefully it was a good remodeling at least. And here we are, we're at the final couple boss fights now. Yeah, we're not going to get sub 210, but we're going to get close enough to it. I'm going to be really happy with this time as long as I don't, like, mess it up. And one last chance to shop. But we don't need no shopping. Because literally the only weapons that really work against these final bosses is the sword. It's actually kind of disappointing, really. Like, even like if you max out all the spells and all your stats and stuff like that, just the only thing that works is sword. Yeah, but it's really comforting with how well the single painting of the lick on you while you face when you're in bed. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, we can use sword beams to at least get a little bit of pot shot damage on him while he does his little base attack here. No, theoretically, actually probably could get Tim defeated before reflecting the sunballs there. But yeah, it wasn't really necessary. And here you just kind of want to mostly just go for the kill. You want to avoid that thing because it will freeze you and it will be annoying as hell. But otherwise, just like go in for the kill. Alright, now at this point I'm going to go ahead and do a safety level up because we are pretty low on health. And it is specifically health level ups that give you the health refill. Like attack ups don't do it, magic ups don't do it. And yeah, as much as you can hit him with like your actual base sword itself, you want to do that. Because the sword beam does like very little damage in comparison. And you go on the side where I can't do the upside down pogo easily. Because of course you would. Oh god. Yeah, we're safety leveling again. Oh no. There we go. Alright, one last phase for this fight. Rawr. I'll take the free health, why not? And you can reflect these for decent damage. That could have been a lot better, honestly. So once upon a time, these little dark ball attacks did like a bajillion damage to you, and they would just wreck your stuff up every single day of the week. Now, apparently, they did a, quote, comical amount of damage before they got patched out into a correct damage quantity. Because it would literally destroy you from like 18 full hearts with half damage relic. It was just super bad. Now I think they do like 3 after the DR. Alright, we're gonna do this. Incoming world record. Maybe not the best world record, but it's a world record. I did not mean to menu there. Thankfully, I didn't die. All right, final boss. And this is like one of the few cutscenes we can actually skip by pressing start and skipping the cutscene here. Although I'll say this is one of my favorite final boss introductions out of any video game. I actually might even just like show off the proper intro when we do the run at fastest first, because it is just that good. It is such an epic intro. So yeah, you do the damage to the boss itself by attacking mainly its head, but its hands also do take some damage toward the final health bar. So if you can't attack the head, go out to the claws. And also, any attack from the big boss itself is going to do massive damage, so you want to try to avoid those as much as you can. Otherwise, everything else you can just kind of ignore, or just, like, tank through without too much worry. Oh, God. Oh, no. Shut up. Stop screaming at me. Screaming is my job. And yeah, this is the main reason we get the upstab. Because it makes fighting this guy so much easier and quicker because we do so much damage per second with this. So yeah, in order to make the main head damageable, you have to break the 4 pink orbs. And then once they're broken, there's like a certain amount of time that the head is available. And time. Okay, that was a bit of a late time there, but we heckin' did it. I'm gonna have to retime that to make sure I get like the exact second on there, but let's heckin' go. Almost 3-second world record. And to think, this is on the fastest first run submission video of all the times to get this. So yeah, so as reference to those on the game choosing committee, I don't know how much of the run you actually are planning to like watch in this, because this is a 2-hour run. I can imagine I can imagine you have like so many more runs to watch. But if you make it to this point, I will be setting the estimate at 225 for this run, because when you get into like bad segments of the game, they can kind of stick for a little bit. So I'm going to keep it safe with like a 225 estimate for this one, because most of our runs before this, for like the past handful of weeks, have been about like 220-ish runs on average. We had like one run that went like high 224. So yeah, for the sake of like safety of scheduling and things like that, I'm gonna go 225 as an estimate for this. But yeah, that was Heritage of Dragon Sail, the speedrun. And yeah, that was me doing it just somehow extremely well. I don't know how I did it this well, but I will hella take it. New record. But yeah, I think that's... I don't know if there's anything else I'm supposed to be adding on to like a run submission video other than just like showing the run itself. But yeah, with that, I'll say so much. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching the video. And yeah, hopefully I get a chance to show this off to the bigger audience at the Fastest Furs event in October. I'm heckin' looking forward to it. And just thank you once again for your consideration, if nothing else. You wish you had better hype emotes. Did you have any... Actually, I suppose you are... Actually, are you new to Twitch in general, or... Well, you've had your Twitch account for a while. You might have some like of the hype train emotes potentially. Well, depending on how much you've been able to like do support for streamers in the past, but I don't know. Let me see what I can find on mine to kind of help in your favor. So we'll do that. We'll do that. That's a little hype. Let me get all the possible hype emotes that I have for you. Okay, for some reason, Microsoft thinks I'm trying to open some kind of app, which, no, I'm not. Wait, why are these not showing up in the thing? Okay, apparently I can't shift-click them. I have to actually click them normally. I would say Twitch is weird, but it's honestly probably the way the OBS applies emotes that's weird. Actually, that's technically hype. None of the hype train emotes I have are actually, like, really hype. I guess this is... That's kind of a hype emote right there. We'll do a good little pog as well. So we got hype. Let's get... There's no excite? Wait, what about... Does it not count my emotes in that section? That is weird. Okay, and then we also have pog. Let's do some pog emotes too. Okay, I think it's me shift clicking this that keeps making it think I'm trying to open up a program or something. Okay, there we go. There's all your hype and pog emotes right there. Yeah, there you go. There's a good one. Yeah, you got the pog emote. You got the scream emote. Scream emotes are pretty appropriate too, I would say. But yeah, I was not expecting world record to run tonight. I was expecting to at least maybe get like a decent run to have like maybe some kind of catch up stuff happen. But yeah, that was heckin' amazing. Another great one from Searing's emotes. Yeah, I just love how just like focused they are in their theme. They're just nice and simple, which is the best part. Because it is definitely easy to go like too complicated and too big brain with an emote. That's something I learned even just in my own attempts to make like my own basic emotes when I first started getting affiliate and stuff like that. Okay, I love how there's one with a background and one not without a background. I guess you can make it easier to see what the emotes are depending on what the setting is, because I can definitely imagine on like a light background, that first one's not going to be very visible, but yeah. Yeah, that was a really good heckin' run. Okay, so here's the question, and so... Do I want to do anything else for tonight? Because I would have, like, only half an hour available at this point. I think I might just call it early at this point, because I'm not really sure what else I would do at this point. I do also have to, take a bio break soon, so I'm going to have to deal with that at some point. Yeah, I think we're just going to go ahead and wrap it up here. We'll call early tonight. Give me a chance to get a little more, like, rest in before work tomorrow, because I got to bed, like, super late last night because of how late I went with my stream, and I could definitely do some more extra rest, so I think we'll go with that one. Restart, you only need, like, an hour, 40 minutes. Oh, if only it were that simple. Although, okay, legit, I would love to see the run get down to, like, half an hour with, like, some, like, random, like, crazy, like, stage skipping glitches, stuff like that. But, yeah, so let's go see who we can heckin' raid. Is there anybody who's actually, we don't normally get to raid you. Is there anybody else we don't normally get to raid at this time? I don't know how long you normally go. Okay, so you're doing some kind of puzzly game. See, the thing is, if I put this up to a vote based on what game they're playing, I'm like 99% certain I know who's gonna win. No, we're gonna go out to the chance that I don't think I ever get a chance to really raid this person. They've raided me a couple times in the past. So let me make sure I actually copy just their name instead of like the live icon there as well. Let's go give Alex a raid. Let's show them some love. The channel is intended for mature audiences and has follower or subscriber only chat? Huh. I didn't know they had follower only chat. I'll admit, that makes me kind of unsure if that... Yeah, I kind of feel bad for canceling this raid, but yeah, if they're... I want people to be able to like meet and interact with them without necessarily having to like click the follow button. I'm conflicted now. Yeah, you know, let's actually go ahead and raid the other being who I'm 99% certain doesn't have that kind of setup. I don't know how long they've been going for 7 hours already. But I think they're trying to do like a completionist, like all-ending run of this game. So yeah, I think we'll give Raishi a raid instead. Let me try to copy correctly. There we go. All right, yeah, let's give Raishi a raid. And they're playing some Hollow Knight right now. They already got like the default ending earlier, and now they're trying to do like more like post/endgame stuff. And yeah, let's go cheer him on with that while we also celebrate our world record. Let's do world record in our fastest Furs submission video run. So we'll just do this as something a nice and simple raid message. If you don't have my emotes, use any other kind of like excited, hype, or pog emote, just anything that has like a lot of like good energy behind it. I feel like that should kind of work with that kind of raid message. And yeah, so we'll probably still do another run of this on Thursday. At least it won't have to be like another submission video, so we can just kind of do a quote-unquote casual speedrun for that part. So yeah, probably do a hashtag casual speedrun of this on Thursday. Then yeah, Steam Library Tour come back on Friday with the game. Already forget what game's next on the list, but we'll find out what that is when it comes. But yeah, with that, I shall see you all on Thursday at 8 p.m. Central for more heckin' speedruns. And with that, I shall bid you all a good night and your cat meme.